reading. For those of you that don't know, I'm a psychic medium. I'm a twin flame coach. I'm a twin flame. Yes, I'm in union. What else? Let's get into the energy. Now, number one, this morning I had a Czech coffee. You know, when I first started reading, I didn't know I was psychic in nature. I was developing it. It was when I was very young. And then I kind of moved on to cup readings and then realised I wasn't actually cup reading, I was channeling. So we will have a look at that circumstance. It seems that you guys might be looking at future tense events at the moment, but we'll get into that in a minute. I hope you got the community tab up. I try and touch all bases so we can have that. I'm going to pull the ruin and we're going to just get things prepared as we move forward. Now, there has been a lot of solar plexus, you know, for masculines at the moment. It might be a family-related dynamic. It's creativity, it's sluggish energy, it's fatigue. The sacral chakra seems to be very nervous in nature. And there seems to be some agitation coming through. Okay, and it's funny, I don't know. I think it's in the things we're doing. All right, and we'll get into that at the moment. I'm going to pull the ruins. Your head hurts. Well, Mercury's there, 100%. We got the North Node in Gemini, which is Mercury. Mercury's in shadow till the 13th, moving through Aquarius. And we also had the Virgo full moon, which is Mercury. So it's Mercury, triple Mercury, and this is a number 3 vibration this month. So it's the Trinity energy. It's the energy of as above, as below, as within, as without. You know, getting into the yin yang. And this is the catalyst to it. With this Pisces energy coming through and moving into Aries season, we're facing our shadow. We're having this physical movement forward. I had done the cup reading, so I've got that here ready to go. I'm going to pull the cards and have a bit of a chat to you. And then I'll get the ruin pages out of the book and we'll have a look at that energy. How are we all doing? I have a lot of videos to do today, so I've got the remaining of the astrology / psychic reads for those zodiac signs. So if you want to join us, I'll be here throughout the day. For some of you, it might be evening. I mean, I was hell for leather yesterday. I think I did about 5 or 6. There's a lot of integration happening. That's what I'm seeing right now. Okay, guilt, regret, failure, but it's corrections of it. Some of us were looking at our actions, but we might be looking at the masculine's actions. We're checking into how we feel about it. Yes, Juno will be going retrograde in Sagittarius, and that's divine feminine. Theoretically, it's Venus energy, but it's looking at our contracts. It's us. It's in all facets. I mean, yes, we can say it's directly connected to twin flame path with Juno from a romantic nature, but being that it's Venus an element, it's marriages, contracts, partnerships. We're also going to be having a full moon in Libra this month. So, you know, it's tying up loose ends. It's looking at things. It's reassessing over the next 13 weeks once it goes retrograde of, you know, have we been on path? Are we in the masculine attributes of our life? You know, putting our money where our mouth is and, you know, putting that direct action into circumstances. And yes, connecting to food, the luxuries, our ability to provide for ourselves, the connections and the people in our life. Mercury retrograde, we had so many heavy hitting planets in Aquarius. It was almost giving us this overall view of the benefits and the detriments. So with that information moving forward over the next 2 weeks, you're really guided to shift things around, take notes, take stock, what was working, what wasn't. And, you know, within your control, what you can actually shift. And I think that's my highest advice at this point. For me personally, I noticed with Saturn being the Lord of Restriction, it's like mine's in my 5th house. It can be with children, romance, creative pursuits, you know, and because it was in the element of Venus, looking at how I could reorganize things, looking at social responsibilities, YouTube, for instance, my schedule, my clientele, having to balance that, situations to do with my child and creative endeavors. So, you know, to get life in balance physically, all right? Be able to achieve those things, but Jupiter's almost wanting you to, with Uranus and Taurus also, it can be quite rebellious. So in one breath, it's like we know what we need to do to make certain things happen. In the other breath, we're looking at it going, is it worth it? Is it worth the sanity? So it can make us rebellious accidentally, and we're more inclined to get sidetracked due to the fact that we have the North Node in Gemini, which is quite social in nature, and it's going to be hustle and bustle. We're going to feel like we're timeline jumping, you know, moving into the next 2 months, I would say, because we're going to have Mars in Gemini. We have the North Node in Gemini. It's very busy. It's your day-to-day routine. It's, you know, conversations, communication. It can be gossip. It can be, you know, information overload. So from here till next year, it's healthy to get to a point where you can actually take notes, take stock. Okay, what do I need to achieve today? Let's get to that point. Let's eliminate all white noise, Mercury, which is technology. It's like, let's keep away from talking to people on the phone, getting sidetracked, and actually focus on achieving those things and maybe timing things. And I think a lot of us are shuffling around our daily routine to be able to get a balance. Especially for those of you most recently that are working from home, you know, over the last 6 months to a year. It does tend to take some time to balance that and to create those healthy boundaries with individuals where it's like, hey, you know, I'm at work, and home and family and things to that degree can kind of muck things up. Now, the ruin that we have is the way it's coming through is we're looking at the past and we're looking at the future, and it's what we have right here, right now. What are we going to do? And it's funny because we do have the heart chakra, which is Chiron energy. The Virgo full moon was higher heart chakra, and it's also Mercury. Now, yes, it's making hits at the moment this month because Chiron at the moment, the wounded healer, is in the house of Aries. And so our wounds we will be working on to liberate ourselves and to prevent us from, you know, from darkness comes light, so to speak. And that's why we do talk about in Twin Flame Path, the lotus flower, is because it does grow from muddy water. So yes, beauty can come from the most adverse circumstances. Now, something that wasn't working, I think a lot of you can be looking at your Twin Flame Path. You'll be looking at circumstances in your life, and the room we have is this. And it's looking to the past and the present. And so the actions you're wanting to take at the moment are undetermined. What do I mean by that? You're still absorbing. You're still consuming the information that, you know, that of what happened, where you were potentially before. And it might be towards stability, you know, trying to get grounded and feel nurtured, feel safe, that inner peace. With Neptune, we're looking at the spiritual nature of things to try and get grounded again. So yes, Uranus and Taurus, it's affected our nervous system. White, fire. And what does it say? Mundane. Past tense, misfortune, damage, shock, sudden change, short-term distress followed by long-term rewards. And that potentially might have been your thought. It could be going to the past or moving to, we're going to tune into it. Esoteric, powerful natural forces, evolution, regeneration, cosmic union. As well as warning of a potential crisis or catastrophe, it may advise us to take care when catalyzing our ideas that we do not damage the very thing that sustains us on the most fundamental level of being, which can be being human, but it also can be, like I've been saying, the proverbial analogy I've been using, don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. You know, yes, there are some things in life that we do need to let go of. And in Twin Flame Path, the blockages, sometimes when we're only looking at the tunnel vision of what's happening with them, we're actually missing the sideline stories of what the blockages can be. That's why I tend to, from a collective point of view, tune into the current energy of astrology, where that can be bringing the blocks, so that we're not always looking from an egoistic experience of, hey, this is what's happening on my side. You know, why aren't they here yet? We need to look at that from a 3D humanistic experience of what can be blocking that circumstance. And in the mirroring effect in the Twin Flame Path, you do tend to have things that are unfinished on both sides for the reason why the connection doesn't come. So if you were to write down on a chart what that person in your opinion, needs to change, 9 times out of 10, you'd actually see that some of those circumstances on your side of the fence are blocked too. And I had to do that to humble old YILDIZ. Now, I've got the cup. We're going to have a look at it. And traditionally speaking with cup readings, we only would ever let 2 people observe it. So I've briefly let you see it, but I'm not kind of letting you see the whole detail. And the reason why, from a spiritual point of view, is it can put the evil eye on the cup. So I find it interesting with cup readings that are on YouTube. I have that lineage, you know, in my life, and it's where it came from. So generally you could show the cup reader and you could show one other individual plus you, but you actually don't show other people because it can put the evil eye on it. And then if you felt that the energy coming through in the cup wasn't appropriate, you could actually wash it out. Now, when you drink, you can do this with, I used to have clients leave hot chocolates at my door when I was nursing. They would come and drop it off and they'd call me up, YILDIZ, I need a cup reading. And I went, okay, just leave your number. And, you know, because it was friends, and they would leave coffee cups and they would leave tea leaves and things like that. But mostly I'd say, go to McDonald's. Love your McDonald's. With a healthier version of things, obviously. And grab a hot chocolate, have that, and just leave the cup. And I'll read it. And I would call them up. And it's usually the energy of you holding the physical cup, which I don't need anymore. You know, if that's something you're wanting, yes, I can do that via the website. So just inbox me and I can do such. You can send me photos. Okay, now, usually from the beginning of the handle is the beginning point. It's where we stand. So when you're looking at a cup, I'll just angle it. This here to the left is the future or the past. And to the right, it is where we are. Now, you usually use it like a clock. You move around in a circle and you're dividing it into, you know, quarters. So, you know, considering we're in March, you take about a percentage, you know, from this side. You take a percentage and you'd be reading from that point. That's where we are basically. So then over here would be next year, theoretically, and energy changes. So at this point, let's have a look, and I'll have to put something behind it because it's a clear glass. I usually use a white one, but I can still read it. Let's have a see. Now, number one, I would say future tense. Some of you have worries relating to the future. There can be stresses. There may be something that you feel that you need to do because you know in the future it's going to come up. Now, this can be a pain body experience. It might be something that you feel very called for. Now, what do I mean by that? Sometimes you can have an obstacle that you're directly dealing with, but you might be having the light on thinking very separate. You know, I'm having a circumstance right now. I wish my masculine or feminine was here. Maybe then I wouldn't have to address this. Now, I think for some, it can be that. For others, it can simply be that you're delaying because you feel that it's something you'll do together. Separately, it can be that you need to address something very separate in your own life that you feel it can come up and it may be problematic in the future. But it does appear to be, with all the grit of the coffee to the top, it's something coming to the surface. Some of you are also wondering if something's been hidden and if it's going to come to the surface and get found out. But I feel this is more that something that has been done in the dark, and it's going to come to the surface and it's going to rear its ugly head. And this can be gossip, and it does make sense because we have the nodes in Gemini, and we are having aspects made to the nodes this month, and we are guided to be very, very careful about, you know, what can be coming up. So some of you can be tuning into this and very cautious. Some of you might have been having nightmares about intimate liaisons relating to twin. And that can be, you know, at times, sometimes you can have psychic attacks. Sometimes the karmics can pop into your head and you can see some really seedy images. If that comes up, and it doesn't even have to be a physical dream. It can be almost you feeling energetically that vibration of something from the past. And again, this can even just be merely a memory of, you know, how that made you feel when the breakup happened, what those dynamics were. But I almost feel like I'm seeing, I'll pull a card, but I'm almost seeing We really need to do this in the private room, I tell you. We can say more there. It seems something of an intimate nature that's triggering you. Some of you, I feel that are going to be seeing letter synchronicities. It can be street signs, it can be images, but I don't know why I'm seeing this. It's like I'm hearing the term why. Why am I seeing this synchronicity? Some of you, this is an owl or it's a particular bird. Birds usually denote messages, and especially owls. I mean, you know, in European cultures, if an owl calls at the front door, it's good news. If an owl calls at the back door, it's bad news. So again, you know, trust in your intuition, but it's also, there's something about your intuition at the moment that you can be maybe second guessing. So do some crown chakra clearing. It may be because you're second guessing yourself. Sometimes it's really handy, and I even find this, is that when I'm getting a psychic download, and especially for me, yes, I can read myself, but when I want to be away from the ego and I've had intuitive downloads and I'm really like, okay, do I trust this? I'd always go get a reading. And it'd be like, okay, this is my time to have a check-in to confirm, so I'm away from ego. This is what I've been sensing, see if it comes up, and even talk to that reader and have a chat to them. But I'm seeing something to do with, like, it's going to be something that, because I can see other birds coming through here, but it seems like small messages, small signs and synchronicities, and it does seem that this is going to be quite large. It's almost like if you're seeing this repetitiously, it's almost like it's screaming at you. It's weird because there's finches, there's kookaburra, family-related dynamic. Kookaburras generally relate to family, tribe. Again, we've got Mercury in shadow, so there may be some things behind the scene that are getting worked out in group energies, especially in twin flame path, where you're going to have to trust your intuition with the circumstance and, you know, really look at what you feel those things are and how to address it, but don't always take into account only their side of the fence. There's one thing to be compassionate and understanding, and there's another thing to know, okay, you're very separate to that. Yes, there's a time and a place for a different subject. I'll have to go into it later, but there's ways in which you know your intuition is correct. Let's put it that way. Again, I'm seeing a crab, which is very family and orientation. There's the kookaburra, there's also the owl, but there's lots of little signs here, and it's almost like I'm seeing Hansel and Gretel. Hansel and Gretel, in a sense that the crumbs are being left, and it's like, you know, almost like pieces of a jigsaw puzzle that you're putting together like a sentence, which is very common in twin flame path. I do feel, you know, in your mind, you've got a hunch and you need to trust it. This hunch is like actually giving you a full sentence. It's almost like without knowing it, you've actually put it out to universe to have some clarity. And it doesn't even have to be that you've asked universe for clarity. It's been something that you've been pondering. Am I delusional? Am I thinking this? Am I delusional? And then it's coming to you through, it's sort of like a chain letter, but the chain letter is coming through universe. It's coming in messages and synchronicities. And it's sort of like as you're puzzling it together, the anxiousness may arise. And I think this is coming up between now and the end of the week. And I'm going to divide this in units of, by the full moon in Pisces, new moon in Pisces, I think in the next week, really, I feel really in the next week. It's sort of like you're looking at things and you're testing it. You don't want to be gullible either. It's like you're trying to be understanding and compassionate. This can be with individuals with your life, but there's some sense of something coming up. and it's going to come up big. This could be an argument, this could be information, but you know, maybe you're, and this is where we have to be very careful because we can manifest accidentally. So sometimes if you have been tuning into a storyline inside the connection, it can accidentally occur. And it's due to the fact we've poured energy into that. So be careful what you're thinking at the moment. I'm seeing a bunch of people, and it is surrounding a group. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 or 8 people. You're one of them, and it is to do with the connection. But there's external influences here at play. I do feel one individual is quite catty. One's very naive, but very gossipy. And the other one just goes with the crowd. Okay, they're a bit of a follower. But there's other individuals around, and it's like they communicate about these circumstances. This can be a plan, but I think this could be a family-related dynamic. What's this I can see? I do feel after this there'll be some sense of movement. I do feel there will be almost like, I feel more a feminine will be rising above a situation. I also feel there's a loved one that's a feminine energy and she's protective of this situation. This can be twins' mother, even if they've passed over or here in the three. There's a soul connection with the feminine energy on the other side, but I don't think it's necessarily, yes, it can be on the feminine side, but it seems to be there's about 2 to 3 energies on the other side, but there's one very strong feminine energy, and it's more coming through in a protective sense to protect the masculine and the feminine. And it's funny, I'm actually noticing a scratch on the cup, and above all the worry that's coming to the surface is relating to an ex. Some of you are potentially going to get a proposal. But there's also, I saw this years ago. I'm seeing a destination. There's something, I think it's Rio. I'm seeing a very spiritual energy coming through here. It's a bit like walking into a church, having a ceremony, having a quiet wedding. But there's some sort, this can even just be very spiritual in nature, part of the awakening. It can be both energies getting into yin and yang through this process, moving through the adversity with the people from the past. Yes, the worry coming up potentially in a pain body experience. And I do feel there's several people involved in this scenario. One person is a little bit violent, and I don't feel this is feminine and masculine. I think this is an external energy. They're trying to prevent justice. It's funny, it's almost like they got the evil eye on it, and I can see Neptune coming up here, and it's like Neptune / Venus, and it's like a rock falling on the head, but it looks like a comet. But it's more third eye energy. It's more like baiting, manipulating, trying to do things to prevent justice and balance. But I feel by the full moon in Libra, this is coming to a head. But I do think this is going to crop up this month. There is a road forward, and it will be clear after this. So I do think this adversity that potentially can come up is there to actually help the chain of events to move forward. And then the road's really clear at this point. So I do think this week, I do think, those of you that are in communication may hear, but the funny thing is I'm really feeling family for some reason. I'm also seeing somebody may hear that they're pregnant. But the worry's coming from two sides. It's not one-sided. This is something that somebody's been carrying as a burden. And it's like teething issues to do with it. Grinding the teeth, really not happy with it. I'm also seeing somebody may have a necklace that is a shark tooth. But there's this hook here. The hook, it's like somebody's baiting somebody. But I do see, you know, those of you that have children, maybe with your twin, some of you are going to fall pregnant to your twin. Others of you, it's more towards a family-related dynamic and a belief system and, you know, parenting and things like that. But it's creative endeavors nevertheless. It is co-creative endeavors and actually, you know, gaining this stability and changing things. But I think for both masculines and feminines, there's sort of like this upgrade that you're having and you're getting to a point that you need to, what would the word be? It's sort of like to get you grounded so that you can do the rebuild. And I think this rebuild is, it's seeing these circumstances for what they are. I do feel you're both very protected, but at the moment there's a lot of, it does feel danger to be quite honest. But it's cattiness, it's external influences causing drama. I do see justice coming, but this person's not wanting that. And I think it's more than one person, to be quite honest. There is this hook. Don't bite. Don't give them what they want. They actually aren't going to get what they want, but it's almost like, I think it's a test. But I think the test could be for one side or the other. I do think it's on one side more so. I think, but, you know, for the feminines, it's more from an emotional point of view, addressing certain circumstances in your own life and moving forward and rising above these circumstances. And anything you're guided to do that was shown to you during the retrograde, I think if you address that, it's actually going to pull you forward. And I also see some of you doing things that are more enjoyable, you know, coming through in the next 3 weeks. But the funny thing is what's hidden is coming to the surface because all the energy is towards the top of the cup. There's a big chunk of it and it's sort of like coming between now and the new moon in Pisces. Now, I will go back to the cards. I hope that helped. Don't know what this dark energy is, but they're drama. They're drama. Okay, this is to free you. This is to free the both of you, right? It's almost like the purge of the ego, the thought processes to do with these circumstances are sort of moving forward. Okay, that's feminines and masculines. So, where's masculine? Masculine's in the air element, right? Badger, skylark, air. Signifies the external weavings and beginnings and endings. A whole cycle. It's very infinity in orientation. You know, stuck in the middle, I would say yes, something has been going on for a very long time. And they're looking at it and, you know, it's almost like on both sides, you know, the stagnation versus the repetition. They're looking at both. So this, let's have a read of the ruin for the masculines. Inextinguishable external light that is latent even in the depths of darkness. The seeking of nourishment of the inner light, the secret fire of the alchemist, sustained and spiritual warrior in the darkness, and provides us with the heart to endure, the awaits the new dawn. New beginnings, awakening, transformation, breakthroughs, clarity, synthesis, growth and hope. It is a completely positive ruin, promising a new dawn, the emergence of light. Creation itself, which was coming through, it was the yellow chakra I was talking about, replaced by the darkness. Now, I would say, and it did come up in the private session that, and it does make sense even in the cup, is it saying there is a situation that's going to come up. And these dynamics, and especially from the ruin, it's been happening for a while. Stagnation is going to be temporary, but it's, you know, if that happens and the ascension's coming through, it's to help free the energy. On your own side, feminine, it could also be that, yes, there is an assurity of success. So, you know, dark and light, integrating both, looking at yin and yang and getting into duality. But I do feel there's a circumstance relating to family and tribe, responsibilities, commitments that are causing dramas and, you know, causing a lot of ascension and fatigue for masculine, but I do feel they're coming out of it. But, you know, yes, it can be tense for a week. There is nervous energy coming through. Now, you guys have a similar ruin. Well, you've got a ruin. It's on the side as well. Hi, Dale. And it's, let's see what it says. Didn't give you the chakra card. Anyhow, I'll do that in a minute. For you guys, communication. Again, because it is very Odin energy, but it's almost Pluto energy. It's Raven. It's a cult of nature, so it's Neptune and Pisces. Okay, homeland and ancestral property. I'm telling you, family, tribe. Returning to one's roots, their hero's journey. Okay. Both energies in our 3D life are going through this. For feminines, it is in the things you are directly doing and the movement you are taking. You're very tired. For masculines, yes, it's yin and yang. It's both. Okay, own identity, ancestral spirit, the ties that binds but does not restrict. Wealth of human heritage, symbolizing by the hearth. It is the root of wealth and inheritance rather than the mobile wealth. Homeland, ancestry, property, family, home, inheritances. Ancestor spirit, scarred enclosure, universal truth, degeneration and ruthlessness. So, you know, sometimes when you're channeling, you know, where your masculine's at, if they're with a karmic or anything to that degree, you can accidentally embody karmic energy. So you do need to be very careful about tuning into it. And if you do, then tune out of it, smudge your head, breathe in, blow out. And then if it's still heavy, you know, definitely tune into something else for about 20 minutes, but you can have a shower and tune out of it. Okay, reassures us that the birthright that connects us is not just family, clan, tribe, and race, but the whole of humanity and extension to itself. This is truly prosperity. When reversed, may suggest that degeneration of social patterns needs to be changed and evolved. But by identifying and honoring the fundamental truth in ancestry traditional, we can tap into the integral power of the tribe. This process is timeless and universal, being the way of all people. You know, there's a time and a place that we go through these circumstances, and I feel with communication, we may have a very egoic perspective about it. It's looking at the past and it's looking at the present. So you can be bouncing timelines. Can I be with tribe? Can't I be with tribe? Some of you have children with masculines, for instance, and you're like, well, you know, what is it, even if you're a single parent, what is that role that I'm taking? Can I do it? Can't I do it? Am I coping? Am I not? Is it fair? Isn't it? And they're the light and the dark, but they're also what after that process comes is, yes, light. And we understand the reasons why our souls chose these paths and the circumstances we needed to do. And it's funny because every single ruin isn't necessarily a reality. Hear me out. It is a perspective. And the reason I say that is because every single ruin has not come up reversed or upright. They're on the side as a perspective. Every single ruin. The crowning energy, the feminines, the masculines. So I feel a lot of you from the Pisces nature are sifting through that esoteric knowledge. It's like, am I correct? I mean, I had a moment like that last week. I was like, what does union mean? Am I in union? Who knows? I'm in it, but I'm humble enough to say transformation and change with me has happened over the years, and it's like, does it need the tag? Don't know. Anywho, masculines, intelligence, right? What they've learned behavior isn't necessarily right. Who knows? We're going to wait and see. Education, knowledge. perspective, flexibility, a purge of the ego, right? It's light at the end of the tunnel, but it's looking at these circumstances, it's integrating and healing. Now, I'm going to look at the external energy. Let me have a look at what's that. I've just seen another thing in the cup. Sorry, angular. There looks like you guys have a shaman healer. Like, it might... Your oversoul is protecting you. This can be intuitive energy relating to if you need to change something to do such. But it's almost like they're holding a torpedo off your head until you can see. I wonder what that's about. So, card come out again. Okay, between you, so you're looking at, there could be triggers, there could be jealousy, there could be anxiety, there could be, and this could be other people. It doesn't have to be you guys. It could be the evil eye on you. So, you know, ascension coming through. Feeling a tower's coming. Yes, temporary tower. You know, I'm seeing something in the cup. But it can be something that you're choosing to do. That you know you need to pull down. That you need to bring that down. Something's exhausting you. So sometimes we drop the ball. Then Mother Nature takes course. Then it gets to a point that we see the error of our way. And it can be changed. That we were an ego. That maybe we didn't know better. And it doesn't have to be, how do I put it? This circumstance can be very basic. It can be, you know, the notion that you had to be something, the notion you had to do something. It might be putting up with someone, you know, having compassion and understanding. Do you have a need inside that? A relationship and a contract is not a one-sided transaction. It's don't only look at that side of the fence. Look at yours too. Is there something you need? Are you getting what you need? In your control and power, what can you do? And I do feel for feminines, it's learning to effectively communicate. Because sometimes we say masculines don't communicate. They do in their body language. And then when they get crosswise from us, sometimes they can go, gee, you know what, not dealing in it. And then you get the ghosting again. So it's looking at it, not that you've caused it, feminines, but there's a mirror here of the language. You're pretty much saying the same thing half the time, but they're two different languages, so to speak. So then it comes misunderstandings and blockages. Depending on where you are in the journey, because I do read for couples, singles, in-betweeners, in communication, out of communication. I'll answer some questions in the crowd. And we can have a bit of a coaching session after this and have a chat about it. I do feel there's influences though here. Okay, Libra Moon keeps coming through. Something big's happening there, that Libra Moon. If your intuition is telling you need to do something and shift it about, and I saw the owl coming through, trust it. Right now, I think the masculine is gearing up, ready to purge a cycle and let something go. Foundational family, co-creative endeavors, maybe an old desire or need is gone. Purging a habit as well. There's a lot of intuition here. There's a lot of psychic energy, and it's just going to build as we move to the Pisces moon. Okay, this is really strange. I feel there could be some fights. I don't think it's between masculine and feminine. I actually think it's external energies. It's almost like when this person's decided what they're doing, somebody's like a naysayer's coming through, you know, trying to stir the pot, trying to say something. You've got to follow your intuition, feminines. Like I said, this is, even in your cup, it's coming. It's like, don't take the hook, don't bite. These old emotions are coming up, and if it was connected to an old wound of what they're using to manipulate, I think this will help clear it up between you and masculine. But also this could be the catalyst to, you know, and it's, you know, in one breath, it's almost like you want to have super compassion connected to commitments, contracts, families, and, you know, external scenarios. And that's from the emotional perspective of what's right 3D. On the other side, you know, we're trying to look at, hey, you know, the optimism of if we do something, putting our actions and our words together, yes, there will be a great outcome. Let's have a look at the ruin again for masculines. It's intuitive. So could there be a new start with the family? Could it be healthy? Could things get into balance? Yes. But it's also about understanding. Healing comes naturally. What do I mean by that? When it's ripe, we pick the fruit. When people understand from different perspectives, we can't really teach people. They have to be open to seeing. So a bunch of students can get in the classroom. And the teacher could have the best of intent to teach that student. Now, one student might be tired. One student may be having a horrible family life. Another student may have, you know, a learning disability. So the teacher's perspective is, okay, I'm here to do such, but it doesn't promise that that's such. So in, you know, group settings, it's not, it takes 2, 3, 4, 5 to tango. Do you know what I mean? So we can't make family perfect. We can't. We can't make tribe better. Sometimes even from a family point of view, spiritually, a lot of us from our conditioning maybe wanted more out of connections. And our conditioning's there, and we expect a lot from ourselves. And I'd say masculines and feminines, both of you for a long time have expected higher than what maybe family required of you or twin required of you. And I think both of you are looking at that now. What is that reality? Do I need to be that energy? I do feel a lot of recovery, but these delayed feelings that are coming up are going to give you clues to do with, you know, how to deal with circumstances moving forward. But a fresh start is coming up, and I know masculines really almost saying that that's the only way. It's like in their mind, they're being rational. They're like, that is the only way. In feminines, I think you guys hurt and emotions may be coming up. But if you see something, you know, call it how it is. It's a bit, you know, not from a hateful perspective, just from an honest perspective. If they ask you to do something beyond, you know, what you're willing to do, just say such. If, what's the other thing that was coming through? Some of you are wanting to be protective of your masculine. And there is, for some of you, there is a frustrating situation playing out. For those of you more in communication, I'd say. The brutal soft truth. Yeah, it's like, I love you, but I can't. You can. I can't. I won't. I'm laughing at me because I have been there. No. Love you. Yeah, no. Yeah, I can't. I don't lie. No. Oof. That's not a me thing. Oh, heck. Okay. Criticizing one another will only lead to further unhappiness. Love and acceptance. Love and accept each other as you are, and your relationship will magically transform. I had a moment in my twin flame path. I'll just share something. You know, there was one point in my path I was like, I just accept all warts and all. And it was point blank, Sarah. It was, you're a, he'll laugh if he has this. And I told him, you're a god. You're it. And then, you know, as you go into it, universe teaches you can't do everything for everyone. You can't be everything for everyone. And then I was like, oh, I can't do that. Do I want to do that? I'll try. And I mean, in twin flame path, you'll try anything once. Maybe twice or 3 times. Anyone else, you'd be like, heck to the no. Who the hell do you think you are? But for a particular soul connection, you will try different things outside of the box, more so than you would have, you know, with anyone else. And I'm noticing the 3 bloody daisies on the card. March is a 3. So, Criticizing one another will only lead to further unhappiness. Love and accept each other as you are. So I went through a stage. I was like, I could do anything. I would do anything for love, right? Yes, but quite literally, but you won't do that. And we're not talking about a betrayal here. There are some things that are very 3D nature you will learn that you simply won't do for your twin. And it's not that you don't love them. It's that we have capacity. We've got capacities, abilities, you know, benchmarks, and it's not a horrible thing. It doesn't mean you're a bad person. Society standards, you know, you'll bounce around within your head at times and you'll be doing it. So then there was another experience when I was going through the separation. I was, you know, it was what it was. It was not, like I said to Google, it wasn't I was saying, I want this back right now. I was doing work on myself. I wasn't looking at that point blank zero. I had no attachment. But I was sort of feeling through the very end prior to reunion, I would do the mirror work, and then I come to a point I went, if I'm going to have ascension forever, well, I'm either going to be alone for the whole time, or might as well just better the devil you know than the devil you don't. Because we had done everything. Everything. There was nothing to even lie about. Everything was touched, right? We had gone on every base of that, of what could happen, and did. And it was like, well, what's left, really? I mean, it could happen with another person. So acceptance came, which was people muck up, they're human. And so we can laugh about it now, and we can say, we don't look at it that it defines us, because we know in truth, nobody owns you. Not a ring can keep a person. Not a baby can keep a person. Not even a tag, because you get separation, right? Not even the tag keeps it, because then what happens when you have an association to the tag, like it is a ring, it means it's assured? No. It's meaning you have an attachment to it. Detach from it all. Not detach from the term, it is, but when you have some sense of psychological attachment, it's codependent, it's almost like having to prove it. It kind of goes, okay? You need to let that bird then wants to be free. It's like, nah, man, you don't know me. But then they end up, they're nurturing, we're nurturing, we go into hermit mode, end up attracting other things into our life, which usually aren't so great because we're broken. And then we get worse than had we challenged that. Yeah. So I was like, heck. Do you know we're twins? What does that mean? That this trigger that we're experiencing right now, I mean, how do you think feminines feel when we're going through ascension, guys? It's like, we must look really terrible on YouTube. It's like, are they crazy? Why are they still talking about this crap for? Because we're in hell. You know, it's energy. It's not necessarily you have an attachment. It's that there are psychic attacks, and you need to learn to actually, you know, travel through them, because empaths and psychic development, it's all there. And you'll tap into other people's energy. You'll tap into, you know, other things. There you go. Okay, so deep in your heart, you already know the answer. Do what you feel is right. This is for feminine. This cracks me up, because my masculine has never told me what to do. Never. Have you had a masculine that's told you what to do? Do what you want to do. What do you want to do? What do you want to do, feminines? What do you want that transformation to be? Love yourself. You know, they never tell you. And you're like, tell me. No, we're not children. They're not going to tell you. And that's, you know, that's why karmics do that to masculines. Masculines ain't going to tell you what to do, right? They're going to go, what do you want to do? You do what you want to do, and it can come through quite, you can say the term narcissistically. You're like, tell me, I ask you to tell me. No, they're not going to tell you because they're not your parent. So they're going to say, if you're coming through that you need to hear something that assures that you have attachment, if they're going to come through and they're opening up and they go, okay, I'm going to travel with you, we're going to get into that communication zone. As soon as you get into, I want the tag, I want my name on Facebook, they're like, my God, you're traveling me down the bloody aisle before we got there. And again, it's attachment. So masculine's body won't know why this is happening. It will be taken and removed because we have attachment. It's control. It's not letting the river flow. Yeah. Any questions? I do think from the cup there could be some drama spinning. I do think it's family related. I do think it can be on masculine's or feminine side, but it can be on both. But I feel it's more masculine's. Who knows? For feminines, it could be in your working life in a group. For masculines, it can be the same, or it could be directly a mother, father, family, ex. But it's tribe. However, it's coming through. It's tribe. It's group energy. And it's heavy energy. So it could be a letter, it could be information, it might be fights and disputes, people messing with you. And I do think a major decision is going to be made after that. And there's a big road and it's open. And it's funny. It's something that feminine has the power to do. It's in her veins to find that solution after, and I feel the road is open. I think both parties' intuition and emotion relating to those energies is almost through their DNA. It's like I'm seeing a vein coming out. It's like pouring, returning to innocence. And that's what I was seeing through the Virgo moon and premonitions. It was like, the Virgin, the blood sacrifice. It was really strange things that were coming through to me. I'm like, what's this blood sacrifice shit? Which was, prayers to the God, returning to innocence, but just in a different, real old ancient way it was coming through. So it's the Virgin energy returning to innocence. And I feel, it's in your lineage that you're able to co-create. So I see that after that, you're putting your back towards it and you're like, I'm moving to this road, and that can be with or without masculine. But I do feel for many of you, it's both of you will go through that intuitive transformation and then shift towards, where you're going. Any questions? I'm going to have a little break and then I'll come back, and I think we need to do Aquarius. Aquarius is up next for the psychic energy. So if you want to join us for the Aquarius video, I've got, how many do I have? I think I did 5. I don't know. I've got a lot to do. I've got all the water signs, and I think I've got the fire signs. What happened with True Heart first? Yeah, but you try and, okay, I'm going to ask you a question, True Heart. Are you comfortable with how long was she gone? Which isn't bad. You got family crap, you got to go, right? It's human. How long was she gone, doll? And say hello to her anyway. I have my coffee beans a week. Now, did you have any communication? Did you have any communication? My back is cracking. Because if the communication irritated you, upset you, or anything like that, it will need to be discussed. But it's not a competition with family. That's a her drama, not a you issue. But she can call and you can call. And that's the thing with, when we say union, even though I've been theoretically in union now for 2 years, it's not instant. So it's technically reunion when you come in, because you're moving through the triggers, all the things you learn. It's a bit like going to university. Then you come into the connection and you're integrating. What do you like? What don't I like? Okay, that's been an old pattern. Can we break that down so it's work? But you can't sweep it under the carpet, because it'll keep coming up. It'll keep rearing its head to the point. And this month, because we've got Pisces, we're very, we can be very, what would the word be? You're so cute. I just love you so much, right? And so it can be pacify. It can be maybe psychologically nutting over it in our head instead of saying it. It's better to address it and don't sweep things under the carpet, because I'm telling you, it gets ugly. It gets bloody ugly. And it's not... and I know that there's a couple of other people that are in union that are on the channel. That's why I try and keep the energy quite fluid when it comes to the path. It is hard work when you do come into reunion, union, whatever you want the tag to be. And there's nothing really is assured, so to speak. It's work. So, you know, having misunderstandings, it's human. But just if you're having a feeling, make sure you honor it, because your body will start playing up. Your body won't allow you to. And it's not that that person's a bad person. If the family is a drama, that is a her issue, not a you issue. And that was one of the biggest mistakes I had in my twin flame path, was owning it like they were my karmics. Owning it like it was my fault. It wasn't my fault. I wasn't even there when it all occurred. So that was a them issue. That had nothing to do with me. You can have empathy for tribe, and that's what comes through in the reading. But the thing is, each path has a cycle. Maybe because I'm a mother, I had compassion for the karmic. It didn't mean I have to sacrifice my whole life. I've done a lot of sacrificing in my life. You know, so it's conditioning. You may have compassion for her because there's a circumstance, and that's 100%, and why wouldn't you? We do have compassion for humans, but it can't be to the detriment to your health. Glowing, it's just the reflection. It's the light, and I think I'm going anemic again, to be quite honest, you know. For those of you that don't know, coffee grains prevent psychic attacks. So I've been sniffing the coffee grains today. YILDIZ, ask YILDIZ, she had... Yeah, you must address the verbal communication. It shouldn't be an issue. Because the thing is, this can even be, say, they're, you know, going to visit the karmic and they got kids together. It's like, what do you bloody do? You can call me. If you're in a connection, right? Yes, you have family. It's for them to create that healthy boundary with their family. And because, honest to goodness, if the family is disrespecting you, they're actually not disrespecting you, they're disrespecting her. And, you know, conflict needs to come up, right? You sent a question, I'll get to it, so you need to address it so that, you know, it can be dealt with. So do have a conversation about it and tell her, you know, tell her how you feel. I can't speak for you, but the communication to build it, it's teamwork. So, you know, it's not perfect instantly. Twin and I weren't perfect instantly. I thought it was quite funny through the process, actually, because it was like two teenagers having a temper tantrum, and then we'd laugh because we were wanting the same thing. Crazy. Okay? Let me see, my love. Why am I so exhausted, having neck pains? What's going on? Okay, well, number one, Colette, the thing is, at the moment, because we have three energies passing through Virgo, plus Pisces, plus the Virgo moon. The Virgo moon's very analytical, right? So you're going to be, even when you go to bed, it's going to be very hard at the moment for your third eye to shut down. It's a bit like a teenager in your head trying to problem solve, and it's like, I'm really tired, I can't think about it. So your head keeps going and keeps going. Mercury's busy point blank zero, and that's why this year it's important for us to journal down our problems. Instead of keeping them in your head, get them out your bloody head, right? And to write down what your goals are for that day. Or if you've got something that week that's a lot, you know, kind of look at it, pace it out so that you're not going to get burnt out, because the nodes in Gemini are going to cause a lot of crap coming up where it's coming from left field all the time. The back pain. Well, the back pain as well will be your foundation. Okay, so yes, in a soul connection, it isn't just twin. In the contract, there's two sides. So one side will be the feminine, one side will be the masculine inside your life. So from your pain body experience, you will mirror those pain body experiences. If you have a home-related dynamic and it doesn't feel stable, is it financial? Is it emotional? Is it accommodation? Is it you don't feel that you have everything in order? You can balance the base chakra and start addressing some of those things. If you've been avoiding it, your third eye is overactive during the day. So is that happening to you at the moment? Because it's a spiritual blockage. Yes, you could get the bed changed, but I have noticed I went and got blood works and everything done, and I'm not a medical practitioner. I can only talk to you from a holistic psychic approach of what I've experienced from my life, and what I've noticed is those pain body experiences, it's similar to seeing the numbers, it's similar to seeing animal totems. Yes, you can connect it to twin, then you need to connect it to your life. So with that, what is happening in your life right now that is imbalanced? What are you worried about that needs addressing? Is it your stability? Is it your finances? Is it your accommodation? Are you having enough support around you? What's happening in that domain? That's what it will be linked to. Once you can address that, it should start easing up and the ego should start calming down. There you go, doll. So only do what you have control of. Write down what those problems are, and then they're out of your head, right? And then instead of putting pressure on yourself, wait till the 13th, like I've said on the readings, and I hate this bloody light the way it's going. It's like a light bulb. Wait till about the 13th, the third eye and the crown chakra should settle down. You can use Tumbaline. I would say do a guided meditation for the sacral chakra. When you fix on it though, you tend to block it. So that what is outside of our control, we can remanifest. That's okay. A solution is going to be found, but we need to use the analytical mind. So use the analytical mind during the day. The third eye should calm down, and in a sense of stability, what is within our control, we must then take direct steps. So that can be, okay, am I running a business from home? Is there some creative way I could manifest the cash component? Is it something about me changing the way I'm utilizing my money? Could it be, you know, tapping into, I mean, for Libras, for instance, fifth house placement. When we have retrogrades, and I did have that retrograde in my chart, yes, things slowed down. More work came in a sense of things I needed to organise, but work slowed down. And then it picked up again. So you tend to get a mixed bag of all sorts with that when it goes direct to plateaus out. And it was because we needed to look at circumstances that weren't stable. And Mars in Taurus was causing a lot of financial hardship. You know, a lot of people were paying money out, and depending on where that was aspected, it was affecting our way of life. And the next time it'll come up is around June. We're moving out of the woodworks of drama, and we should start having some solutions coming. So you will see some sense of forward movement, providing you're not avoiding it, you're confronting it head on. And that will mean us actually making decisions. Okay, I'll pull a card for you, but the blockage relates to that. Now, you may feel energetically the masculine on the external view could have been the solution, right? But right now, the masculine inside of your life, you, is the solution. Does that make sense? I have plans for a second business, but is so fatigued. Yeah, be careful at the moment overdoing things. And I think that's where Mercury was really good. It's, for me, for instance, I want to do more creative content. Saturn is the Lord of restriction. Jupiter is the expander. We want both polarities, right? Uranus is rebellious. You know, there's some rebellion in there. It's like, which is more Jupiter. It's go, go, go. Uranus is sudden changes, fluctuations of finance and your commitment to it and your love for it. So with that notion, at the moment between now and the 13th, Mercury will be out of shadow. You'll see clearer. We were wanting to do a lot of things, but you need to see the burden. There's a lot that's going to come up on your plate with that burden. So how was it affecting? It was affecting your health. It was affecting your daily routine. Doing more less necessarily isn't more. It's working smarter. That's what it's asking us to do. You're going to have to work hard, point blank zero. What can be a more logical, long-term way of doing that and working smarter? Now, Mars and Gemini is going to help you do that because we're going to logically look at the little steps we need to take to make those things happen. Okay? So we got the horrible part the last 2.5 months, right? Maybe 3, 4, and all of last year. Now we've got that tension through the sacral chakra and solar plexus. Want to do something, a bit scared. Can't. It's the third eye, Mercury. Can't sleep, right? Hi, Andrew, just as I'm leaving the house. I'm coming back again. Good morning to NZ. Are you still in NZ, Andrew? I'll pull a card for you, Colette, and then I'm going to have to hit the road and I'll be back for Aquarius next. What zodiac are you, Andrew? Okay, burdens, blocks, right? It's stress. You are going to recoup. But it's have your sharp mind, right? Use your sharp mind. Libra. How you doing with that? You having fun? Us Libras in it, right? So you're going to have clarity in mind. Can be information coming in. Can be things moving forward. But you're going to be able to recover. I do have super chat. I'll have super chat on the next video as well. When I come back to do Aquarius, Deborah, I will be doing super chat there as well. I'll do them after every video. I'll pretty much be with you guys all day, night, depending on where you are. I'll come back in 5. I'll do 2 more and then I've got to go because I've got to get this show on the road because I literally have, I think, about 7 or 8 videos to do today. And I only managed to do 5 yesterday. So far this morning I've done 2 and it is already almost 8:30. So I do have a client at 10. So that's going to break the day up and I can't come back till after 11 and half of you are going to be asleep. Okay, so who was the first buddy? Hi, Char. Okay, Vanessa. I'll give one for Vanessa. What's happening, Vanessa? Oh. I'm trying to work out whether this is you or another person. Okay, are you very sure about a circumstance? Okay, sweet. Take care. I'll be back soon anyway. Vanessa. There's a bit of an ego here, okay? There's a perspective you're not seeing. You might be going through a bit of a... And this could be them, right? This could be them saying, you know, I'm going to be fine. And I don't know if it's necessarily you. Have you been getting headaches? If you've been getting headaches and psychic attacks, it's a bit like I'm kind of feeling somebody's talking poorly on you. Or maybe you're getting angry to do with the situation, but it doesn't come through that it's you. It comes through that someone is speaking about you. That's how it's coming through. It's an ex. It's not, it could be theirs. Yeah, it's a bit of shady energy. Naggy energy, naggy. Somebody, it could be a parent, it can be a mother. It's somebody talking to them hoo-ha and on about it. Maybe even saying that you have somebody else or something like that. It's just, it's gossipy. It's gossipy energy. And did I miss anyone else? I will do them on the next one anyway. I'll have to come back. Otherwise, I'm going to take ages. I will be back for the Aquarius and I will do a super chat on that one. So come through and join us. Otherwise, the link is directly below for a private read. Please comment on the video and like it. It helps it share through the algorithm because I do keep the... Can I donate to your channel? For some reason, it never works. I don't know, Deborah. It might be the settings on your phone, Dale. Maybe different countries have different settings, but... yeah, it works for others, so don't know. Maybe it's country orientated, but yeah, you're welcome to. Okay, I shall be back.